Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide worldwide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and it's a true pleasure and honor to have you here with us today. Happy Labor Day to all of those who are out there celebrating, and thanks to all of the men and women in service and before being in service to keep our country safe. We really appreciate you. Our show today is the Mallorca Connection, and our topic is tips for successful broadcasting from the road. So if you've ever watched the show before, you know the star of our show, Mr. Roland Friedl, is living in his motorhome. And not only that, he's working from his motorhome, and he makes sure that he's available to do our programs together and to be able to stream from wherever it is that he is, no matter what that means. So we're going to find out what exactly that does mean. Let's welcome him to the show. Hello, Roland.
Hello, Jacalyn. Thank you for having me back on the show. Well, it's always a pleasure every Monday on the Mallorca Connection.
It is a pleasure for me as well. And I think you mentioned this earlier, but it's almost 2 years we've been doing this show.
Yes, I was not quite sure, but September, October, 2 years ago, something like that.
And things have really changed since the inception of the name of this show. Tell us a little bit about the background. Why is this show called the Mallorca Connection, and how has that evolved?
Well, yeah. Hello, everyone, wherever you're joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Well, a friend of mine, John Christian, he called me more than 2 years ago and asked me if I'm willing to give him an interview on USA Global TV and Radio. And to be honest, I had bad experiences in the past when I was been living in Austria and running my businesses in Austria, because they interviewed me, but it was not live, and then they cut it together, and then it was something totally different than what I said. But anyway, but it's a very good friend of mine, and I said, okay, I'm going to do it, but I can't fly to the US for the show. He said, no, it's online. It's online. They're using a tool, StreamYard. So it's online. So okay, well, why not? Let's do it. So, and I guess the show was called The Journey of My Life or something like that. And I really enjoyed it. And I got introduced to you, Dr. Jacalyn. And then you contacted me and said, okay, if I'm looking for, if I want to join USA Global TV and Radio and do a show. And then I remember we had a discussion about what topic. And I said, I have so many topics I'm interested in. I have such a broad experience from my business backgrounds, the last 4 decades. And also what I'm interested in my leisure time. I'm doing men's work. I'm very engaged in environmental projects and stuff like that. So I couldn't find a topic to focus on, to be honest, because I have such a broad experience and knowledge. And so as at the time, I've been living on this beautiful island on Mallorca in Spain. So we called it the Mallorca Connection. And I believe that my first 2 guests came also from Mallorca. I think so. That's the story.
I think that's right. That's correct. So since that time, you've left Mallorca and you're living a completely different lifestyle. And we're going to be tapping into that lifestyle and how you're able to work successfully to do the work that you do, and also to be on our platform. And you also have your own platform as well. So we're going to talk about that. So tell us about how you left Mallorca and then what you're doing now.
Okay, I left Mallorca on the last day of March last year, and the reason for that is, I had a huge house, a beautiful house, but the point is, the larger the house, the more stuff you store all over the years. And my girlfriend at the time, she also brought more and more stuff. To be honest, I had a kind of depression, in this amazing house. I was, I didn't like it, and I remember she always said, "Don't burn it down, don't burn it down." I said, "No, I don't do it." And I bought this motorhome actually, I ordered it in 2017. Yes, I got it in 2008, and it took them a year to build it. Yeah. So in 2018, I got this motorhome, and I always had a kind of idea or dream to live, not forever, but just for a year or two or something, in my motorhome and travel through Europe, because I know many, many parts in the world. I was traveling for business and for traveling just for fun all across the world, but I don't know much about Europe, to be honest. So it was a kind of idea or dream to move into my motorhome. But to be honest, Dr. Jacalyn, I'm always very transparent and honest. I was a little bit scared about doing this step, and I always had excuse that my girlfriend at the time, my former girlfriend, she was in love with the house, she loved the house, and so I kept the house, and it was my excuse. No, I keep the house, I stay in the house because she loves it. And then when we came back from a 4-month trip, actually it was 2 months with me. I was traveling 4 months in my motorhome. I did a huge trip through Poland. And I came back to Mallorca, and the house was rented. It was not owned. I didn't buy it. It was a huge one, too expensive. I rented out for a hell of money. And I came back end of August, and then I had a meeting with the owner. And actually, my owner, he get Parkinson. We had a very good relationship. I didn't had a good relationship with his wife. She was very pushing, and she came in and she said, yeah, she wants to increase the rent by 33%. Can you imagine? And I said, sorry, I offered her 7% at the time, 7%. And said, no, then I have to go out. I have to go out of the house. And I said, no, I'm not willing to. I already pay so much. I'm not willing to pay much more. At the time, the economy was also going down. We've been in the middle of this pandemic. Business was not good, so no, not at all. So my idea was to look for a different house on Mallorca. And then my girlfriend said at the time, you know what? I'm starting to traveling myself with a shaman. We don't see each other much more. The relationship was more or less broken at the time already. So I said, oh, that's a sign. Not only getting out of the house, but also getting out from the island. I have amazing 14 years there, but I never looked back. I enjoyed it, but I said, okay, maybe it's time, and I tried out to move into my motorhome for a year and find a property, maybe in Portugal or Greece or somewhere. But after traveling to Portugal, I really loved it last winter. But to be honest, I have no idea where to settle down, and I love this lifestyle. I love this lifestyle to be independent. Dr. Jacalyn, I'm not a very huge fan of cities, of crowds. So I love nature. I love to be by myself. For the audience who don't know me, I'm traveling with my dog and a cat. I love the animals. I love to be in nature. I love hiking. Actually, the last 4 days, besides working, I was archering in a beautiful. On a beautiful course every day. So I moved in April last year. So it's April, May, June, July, August. So it's about 19 months ago. And my idea was 1 year, but I prolonged it. And to be honest, I cannot answer right now when I want to settle down, but I guess not the next 2 or 3 years. I have no idea. But that's the point. And I really enjoyed this freedom, to travel around, to stay here, to stay there. If I don't like the people or the environment, I move on. Or if I don't like the weather, it's too rainy, I go somewhere where it's more sunshine or whatever. I love this lifestyle with all these advantages and also disadvantages, like a coin. A coin always has two sides. This also has two sides. I guess we discussed it in other shows also. But yeah, that's the way it is like now, and I love it. And we can broadcast not only from Mallorca or from a house or from an apartment. You can also broadcast from a motorhome. Yes, absolutely, and that's the topic today.
Thanks so much for that recap, Roland. I really appreciate it. And we have talked a little bit about the fact that you have to be prepared. You have to do some research. You have to have certain equipment. You have to have accessibility to be able to interface with StreamYard, for example, and on your Roland Media. I'm not sure how you're doing that, but let's talk a little bit about some of the things that people need to be mindful of if they want to be broadcasting just broadcasting in general, and then broadcasting from the road, that adds another element to it.
Yeah. First of all, especially for those guys who think about, oh, I want to, especially the young, our younger audience, when lifing is very trendy, and some people think, okay, I become an influencer or do broadcasting and I make a hell of money. To be honest, that's not reality. It takes a long time to build it up. It's a hell of work. Dr. Jacalyn. It's a hell of work to build it up, to broadcast, to find topics, maybe to edit it, to release it, to promote it. It's a hell of work until you see a penny. So first of all, I guess you really have to love what you do. That's the first thing. It's not about making money on the first thing. It's about you have to love it. And the second thing is you have to have produce some content. You have to be authentic. You have to be a content you're passionate about it. Like I'm passionate about environmental stuff, like with the show before. I'm very engaged in and passionate about health. So we do every 2 weeks with the Planet Show. We do the It's Health Lifestyle Show. I'm very passionate about to share my own experience here on this channel. I was very passionate, and I still am, but was very passionate about the Men Show we did here, and was very passionate about the Talking Heads show we did with the business. So you have to be passionate about what you're doing. You have to have a clear concept what you want to do. First of all, I guess that's the most important thing. Because buying the tools you need or the software you need, it's the easy way. It's not expensive. But you have to have a clear concept. What's your message? What do you want to broadcast? And what I suggest to start this is, before you start maybe your own stuff, because I can tell it's hard work from my own experience. Maybe you want to join, for example, USA Global TV and Radio, and bring your content, bring your interview partners, the channel with the producer, owner, and CEO, Dr. Jacalyn. She's an amazing platform. And you just go in, sign up, have a conversation with her, talk about the topic you want to bring on a weekly basis, the guests you want to invite, the topics you want to discuss, and just focus on the interview, on the conversation with your guests, and not about focusing about broadcasting, promoting much on a technique. Maybe it's a good step to start like this. And if you want to go further, of course, then you need some equipment. We can also discuss this. But this is my first advice. Go for a channel like USA Global TV Radio. For me, a very, very good decision. I'm still there. I love it. Also, Dr. Jacalyn mentioned it. I built up my own channel, but it's just a German one, for the German-speaking market. But I'm still here because I just love it. For me, it's a family. I love it.
Thank you, Roland. I really appreciate that. And I think that really ties in with what is extremely important is you have to be passionate about it. It can't be like, oh, I've got these shows to do on Monday. I dread it. Kind of like when,
Give me a second. I guess somebody's knocking on my door. Maybe it's the police. Give me a second.
So while Roland's doing that, I wanted to just share a little bit of information, which is we would love to have you on our channel, on our platform. If you're interested, you can go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com, and there's a section across the top where you can book your session. So all of the shows, I think we now have 41 different shows that we offer. They're all in Eastern time zone. So for example, if you are in London or the United Kingdom, you would take whatever time the show starts and you would add 5 hours to that. If you're in Central European time, you would add 6 hours to that. So just be mindful of that when you want to book in. We also have a comment, which I looked up the translation, wishing us well. And the person was saying good night and wishing us well and thanking us for the show. So thank you very much for that. Okay, Roland is back with us right now. There you go. Hello, Roland.
Yes, sorry. Security was knocking outside because I have to leave in 45 minutes. And I said, I'm just broadcasting a show on USA Global TV Radio, and then I'm going, yes. This can happen. Sometimes the police is knocking or security is knocking. I'm parking here on the Danube on a beautiful river, huge area. I paid for the parking here, but you can park here but not stay overnight. So that's the reason. That's the security is knocking, and I said, no, I'm leaving at 9 p.m. today, not 9 a.m. tomorrow. So all good. But this can happen. This can happen.
Absolutely. So that's one of the things when we think about being prepared, you have to expect the unexpected. So prepare for distractions, prepare for things that are going to come up, and then the rest will take care of itself. So, Roland, let's just take it a step back when you think about the equipment that a person needs to broadcast. So we've got a green screen, we've got some lights, we've got good
A very
Wi-Fi.
good ring light. Light is very important. When you broadcast, light is very important. A good ring light, yeah, that's a good investment in a very good ring light. I guess this was the most expensive part besides the computer I already had, but a ring light. I invested a lot, some money. I guess $250 in a very good ring light. I have a green screen. I had a $500 green screen, a professional, huge one in Mallorca, but here it's a $15 green screen. Yeah, then I have a very good microphone. If somebody's interested, you can contact me and I can give you the details of the broadcast. I'm using a very good microphone. I'm using a professional one, a very good extra camera on my computer. It's a small investment, but I guess it's important to be as professional as possible. And especially when you're living in a motorhome, you don't have endless space like in an apartment or house. So you have to take care that you have a good quality product, but also a product that doesn't need a lot of space. Yeah. So you have to be clear about how to charge this. I mean, when you're fully autark like myself, I have a lot of solar panels, so I'm quite full because the ring light needs a lot of power, to be honest. And actually, it's more heating than lighting up here in the studio. But anyway, so keep in mind you need a good product, but you also need a product that is working in a motorhome, depending on the capacity of your batteries and also on the capacity of the storage you have. That's very, very important. And the most important thing is find a good place where you can stay and nobody's knocking on my door like here. I didn't expect them to come that early. But anyway, so that you stay safe. Be sure that there's no much noise surrounding here. So don't stay in a party area or something like that, or I don't know, close to a highway. That's very, very important. You have to taking care about this. And last but not least, I guess the most important thing is make sure that you have a very, very good network. Because when you're broadcasting, especially when you're broadcasting live, like we do, Dr. Jacalyn here, you need a really good network. That's very, very important. Especially not only the download, but the upload. It has to be high, and this is sometimes an issue, to be honest.
Roland, one of the comments that you made initially was about the green screen, how you have a $500 one versus a $15 one. The green screen I have is quite large. It's I don't even know how many feet it is, but it's very tall and very wide. It's not something that I would suggest traveling with. I'm leaving mine up and I will be traveling. So what's the difference between the $500 investment versus the $15?
Well, here for the show, the $15 is enough. I bought the other one for $500 in Mallorca because at the time we started, I was not really thinking about moving from Mallorca, going away. I was still thinking about finding another home, and I bought these professional ones. It was taller than me, longer than me, broader than me. I thought, okay, maybe I can use it also for other video production. It's nice to have a green screen where to do more video production, stuff like that. So that's the reason I bought it. But I didn't. I just used it for 6 months and then I left. But for a show like this, $15 is good enough.
I just want to add a comment to that. So what I found is if you're broadcasting from a large space, which I am, you need a large green screen because there's a lot of space to divide. But if you're in a vehicle like where you are, or if you're in a smaller room where there's not that much wall space behind you, you don't need as big of a green screen.
No. But to be honest, sometimes I broadcasted with you, and I was at a friend's home. I guess it was 2 times at a friend's home, and they offered me. One was in one of the kids' room, and one was when they had a small office in the house. I was just hanging my green screen in the back, and it worked also. But to be honest, as you said, when you're broadcasting from a home, go for a professional one. Absolutely, absolutely.
Thanks, Roland. Okay, so now we have the equipment. what are some of the other things? That's just the basics, right? That's just to get into the game, so to speak, because you really have to have a professional presence. You have to be able to be listening at the highest level, and you have to be able to have a lineup of guests who are going to come, unless you're going to do the show yourself, like Talking Heads. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, as I said, you have to have a clear concept. You have to something to tell. Yeah, and as I always say, from your own experience, it's so important, because there's so much fake stuff outside on the market, especially on YouTube and other channels. So be authentic, be realistic, be real, be authentic, and tell your story. Whatever drives you. Maybe it's just a cooking show, or it's a traveling show, or it's fashion, or whatever it is. You have to be passionate about it, and do research about your topics, find interesting people for interviews, for conversation. It's a lot of work, but as I said at the beginning, you have to be clear about your concept. What's your story? What you want to tell? What are you passionate about it? But because you're spending a lot of time on that, and you're not making money in the beginning, not at all. So you really have to be passionate about it. You have to have a clear concept. And the next thing is, when you have a concept, maybe you need some training. How to appear in front of a camera, what are the do's and the don'ts, what you have to take care about. As I said, about the background, about no kids running around, no noise, stuff like that. How you dress yourself. So what I always do is I have different colors, black and red. Blue, red, and white. And I have different T-shirts or shirts. I always take care about what kind of background I'm using for what kind of show. And if I use a gray background, I wouldn't wear a gray T-shirt or a black one. So I go in white or in yellow, so people can see me, like the contrast down. When I have a darker background, I use my red ones. If for a lighter one, I use my blue ones. So take care that you really appear good. You said at the beginning, you have a good light. And then one of the most important things is your communication skills, how you talk. And as you mentioned, Dr. Jacalyn, how you listen to people. That's very, very important. Because some interviews, I see some shows, they always talk, and then the guest has not much to talk, or the guest says something, and then the interview goes in and continues and talks. So there are a lot of rules to consider, about of techniques to consider, about of consider habits or attitudes to consider. And if you're not trained on broadcasting, being on a show, doesn't make a difference if it's live. My life is more challenging, like we do, than when you only record it, then you can edit it if you want. But to be honest, I do my other show on Roland Friedl in German. I don't go live. I record it, and then I bring it on YouTube and other channels. And even there, I don't edit. I don't cut it. It always says to me, to your guests, it is like it is. It's like live. I want to cut it, because I want it real, authentic. So the most important thing is, as you said, Dr. Jacalyn, buying the tools is easy. The technique, it's not a lot of money. Taking care about a good internet, I will give you some tips later on that if you want to. But the most important thing is, do you feel comfortable in your role? Do you like to entertain people? Because it's not about us, it's about the audience. That's the most important thing. It's the audience. Is it interesting for the audience? How do I talk to the audience? And when I have an interview partner, how are my listening skills? That's very important. And the good news is, here on USA Global TV and Radio, by the way, I joined it also. There is an amazing course where you can train your listening skill and become an elevated listener. In my opinion, is very, very important to be a good interviewer, a good host, or a co-host on the show. It's not only about talking like I do right now. It's also about listening to your guests and to your audience. Very, very important.
Thank you, Roland. You brought up a number of really great points, and I'll just go backwards. So one thing I found is really interesting to me, as you know, I meet with the guests backstage before the show actually starts, and I give them my little overview of what to expect. And one thing I'll say is, we're going to spotlight you like this. You're going to be on Spotlight, and when you're there, please keep your points to 2 minutes or less. And then I put someone on Spotlight, and they're talking for 10 minutes. I just had this happen twice last week, and it's a TV show, so there's no engagement. But because I really believe in the power of elevated listening, I don't bring them back. I don't interrupt them. I let them continue on. And so I think that that's really important, is that you have to be able to anticipate that not everything is going to go the way that it's supposed to go. The other thing I think that's important is you have to get the experience. So I know for me, I started out at an in-person television station, and I paid them several thousands of dollars so that I could have my own show. And I was also on a radio platform, and I paid them just under $30,000, which might seem like a lot of money, but I got a tremendous amount of experience, and I learned how to be a broadcast engineer. I learned how to be an executive producer. So I feel that that was a good investment, because of an investment into what it is that I do today. So I want people to realize that if you are serious about it, you have to put the time and the energy. Otherwise, there are at least 5 million podcasts out there today. You're just going to be one of the many. You won't be standing out because of the quality that you're bringing, or the ability that you have to get a guest to feel comfortable and to be able to speak their mind. As you know, we're a very heart-centric network here. We're doing a lot of caring and sharing and hard work.
Absolutely. And I can absolutely relate to this, and I really recommend this, is to people, as I said, be clear about what you want to talk about. If your guest lists, prepare them for the next months. But have the tools, the technique you need, the software you need, and then what you said, Dr. Jacalyn, is you have to be prepared, meaning you have to train and educate how you appear in front of camera, how you speak, how you ask questions, how you listen, stuff like that. That's so important. And this is the best investment you can do. When you can go on a course and learn it in theory, or you come here on USA Global TV and Radio, buy a reasonable fee for your own show, and you get trained and educated, and you buy a reasonable fee to do video trainings, to get a reasonable fee to join the, as I said, the elevated listener program. It's so important that you get trained on it and get the experience, and then you become better and better. Because, as I said in the beginning, it's all about the audience. Do they like you? And it's not about the content itself. It's not about what you're talking about. It's about how you're talking about. The how is more important than the what. And in the beginning, we talked about the why. What is your mission? What is your vision? What is your why? Why are you doing that? What are you passionate about it? So what's your why? But then the next important thing is in front of the camera, or even if it's a microphone when you just do it on audio podcast, is how you're doing it. Much more important than content. I met so many people who have amazing knowledge in theory, but they cannot transfer it to the audience. They're some are so fucking boring when they talk. You just fall asleep. And in this world, everything is very fast. We get very distracted. We have a lot of offers. You said, Dr. Jacalyn, there are thousands and thousands of YouTubers. The people just click and they get out of the show. They're not interested, very boring. And on the other hand, there are people who have also a lot of knowledge. And as you said, they talk and forget the audience or even the host of the show. So you really have to learn it. And that's so important.
Absolutely. Great points as always. And I think it's about being present. It's about keeping your head where your feet are. So if you are interested in broadcasting, whatever that time is that you're doing that show, and the prep before and then the closing out afterwards, you have to really truly be there. You can't be thinking about something else. You can't be doing something else, because it does show. It does come across that you're not fully invested in what it is that you're doing. And therefore, people will not want to be a guest. They will not want to be a partner, a hosting partner with you, because they'll see that you're not really into it.
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I had a huge advantage, because before I started with USA Global TV and Radio, I was working as a trainer and coach. I was always standing in front of people, of salespeople, mostly of management people all over the globe. I was standing on stages, working for a huge company as a distributor, like you joined the check that just passed business. I was talking in front of 10,000 people on how you call this, on a convention, stand out to be, and you don't see anyone, which is so much light on you. But I was used to talk in front of people, but it's different to talk in front of a camera because, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see you. I even don't know who you are, where you're joining us, if you're small, female, male, old, young, whatever. So I have no idea about you. What I really miss to the direct contact with the audience. So there's also totally different. But my advantage was I was used to talk in front of people. I was not shy. Not in the beginning. I remember my first time on the stage, I was sweating like hell. But after a while, you get more experience and you love it, and you find out, oh, I'm not sweating. I sweat less, and people are loving. And then you think, oh, they're loving about me or about the joke I made, and then you think, oh, they love me, and then you just love it to be on stage. You love the energy. So this was my advantage. I was used to talk in front of people. I was not shy anymore. And I never have a script. But sometimes I look, to be honest, I look at my smartphone on the dictionary, to be honest, because English is not my native language. I work most of the time with English, but sometimes I'm looking for a vocabulary, so I just watch my smartphone with a dictionary. But I don't use a script. I'm prepared because I only talk about topics I experienced myself. I live it. For example, the Planet Earth show we do. I only talk about things where I really have a profound knowledge, experience, what I do on a daily basis. The same with the men's work. The same with the business channel we did. The same with It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. I only talk about what I'm doing on a daily basis, my workout, my living healthy, and I'm gonna become 60, so I guess I do the right thing. I'm healthy, I'm still in good shape, and don't look that bad. So I only talk about things I'm passionate about and have an experience. So nothing in theory that maybe sounds good or would be interesting. That's also important, that you are authentic. I guess authenticity is the most important thing. And the rest is experience, doing again and again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah, as you've mentioned, we've been doing this for just about 2 years, and there's been an evolution. Obviously, when we first started out, as you mentioned, you were a guest on another show. And then I asked you if you wanted to do a show with me, and we hadn't worked together before. So you have to figure out a flow of how you can actually work together, because if I'm a talker and you're a talker and both of us are talking the whole time, that's not going to be interesting to the audience. So yeah, there's a timing as well. So you understand me and I understand you, and that's why we work together well.
Yeah, and you mentioned something very important, like Jacalyn, especially for beginners. Do small steps. As I joined, as you said, I joined a show. I was invited as a guest, so I made my first experience on being part of a live show and broadcasting from my home, from Mallorca. That's one thing. The next step is that you invited me to co-host the Mallorca Connection show together. We, the two of us, Dr. Jacalyn and myself, we interviewed the guests I brought in, and so I made my next experience. Then you offered me to do my own show, the men's show, and I also had the chance to do a short half-an-hour business show. And it's learning, and you get better and get better and better, and get more and more experience. You get more self-esteem. You get better and better. And it's all about doing small steps and improving every single week. When you improve every day, 1%. Look back after a year. And to be honest, when I look at the first shows, Dr. Jacalyn, we did together almost 2 years ago, we were first interviewed about. I think the quality today is it's much better than 2 years ago, because we both learned about it.
Absolutely. I'm still learning. That's part of the reason why I get so excited to come here and do these programs, because it is a growth trajectory. And I've seen so much from you and everyone else on the team from where you were. You are already very experienced, but I've seen even more growth as well. So I think that really speaks to the commitment that you've made to continue to learn and to bring your experience and your knowledge forth to help other people.
Absolutely, that's what I love. That's what I really love, and I'm really looking forward every Monday. And to be honest, to our audience, some shows I missed because I would love to do it, but I didn't find a place with network. Sometimes in an area there is no network. I mean, there is network, but it's not good enough to do a live show, because, as I said, I made in the beginning, and it was a learning process for me. I said I have an app. It's called Speed Test. So I test the network. And I said, oh, the upload is good. Sorry, the download is good, but it's when you're broadcasting, you need a download, but you also need the upload. And most of the time, the upload was not sufficient enough. So then we have been struggling. So sometimes it happens to me that I think I will have a good network, but it's not really working there. Sometimes I'm in a thunderstorm. That happened too in the past. I remember that. You're in a thunderstorm and then the network breaks down everywhere. So this can happen too. Yeah. But I want to come back just 2-3 minutes, if it's okay, Dr. Jacalyn, about internet or about network. So when you're broadcasting with USA Global TV and radio, or do your own stuff, whatever you want to do, but from the road, be clear, make sure that you have a good network. That's so important. So what I can really suggest is work with different providers. I have a data, we call it a data SIM card, in every country from different providers, always at least 2 or 3, because sometimes this provider has a better network than the other one. I can always change. That's very, very important. I always look for the best network, because I know that some life especially, they say, oh, I don't want to invest money because it's expensive. I go on a place like, this fast food chain, and I stay outside with my camper, for example, and I use their network. Yeah, it's nice to do some Google research, but to broadcast live, it's not working at all, to be honest. And you have to be clear that they have to make sure that you're really fast network, because a lot of data, it's voice and it's video, it uses a lot of data. So make sure. So my suggestion is, I don't know how it's in the US, but use at least 2 different providers, so you can always change which one has the fastest and the most stable network. And another option is, I'm not sure, I'm thinking about it maybe next year, to buy a satellite system, especially in Europe, because in Europe, you have it's different than the US, but in Europe, you have different countries. In every country, you have a different company. Then when you cross the border, you have some roaming. Yes, you can use some gigabytes, but mostly you have to take another card, because when you do broadcasting, you need a lot of data, a lot. I use 250 gigabytes a month. And I'm not watching Netflix or stuff like that, just for producing. Okay, 250 gigabytes a month. So, yeah, here in Europe, I highly suggest to go on, and I'm thinking about it. It's quite expensive, but maybe I do this, is using a satellite program by this crazy Australian guy. Everybody knows him from electric cars or from a social media platform. But maybe I'm going to use his product in the future, so I don't have to change the provider all the time, because I guess he offers a very, very good coverage. That's very important. So coverage of network is very, very important when you're producing from the road.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I want to add something to that to show commitment, and people, they might make a judgment by what I'm about to share, but that's on them. So I'm so passionate about what I'm doing that I produce all the shows myself. I'm actually bringing on a couple of producers, but that's just so I know that I have some producers there if something were to happen. But recently, my mother was very ill. She passed away on the 24th. And for 3 Thursdays in a row, the 24th of August, I still had a full plate of shows. So even though I was caring for my mother, I still had to work, because this is my business. This is what I do. So I actually was broadcasting. I should say I was producing, but we were broadcasting. I was in the emergency room with my mother in the hospital. I broadcast from the hospital. I mean, I have broadcast from a car where I have a hotspot that I had to use. I have done whatever it is I have to do to make sure that the shows continue on. So I just want people to realize that that's how passionate I am about what I'm doing, that when you have a business, especially broadcasting, imagine if you turned on your television and you watched mainstream TV, which I don't, but you turned it on, there's just a black screen. There's nothing there.
Absolutely. And as you said, I mean, especially when you want to build up something, broadcast business, it's all about, of course, it's the burning desire. What do you want to talk about? But it's also about consistency and persistency. Yeah, it's being on a regular base, broadcasting on a regular base, and it's a hell of work. And as we mentioned, I started my own Roland Media channel for my German-speaking market. I love what I'm doing. But to be honest, it's a hell of work. It's finding interview partners, finding topics, preparing it, promoting it, editing it. I don't cut the interview, but what I do is at the broadcasting, I bring intro before I edit, so there's a little bit editing work. I'm producing the thumbnails. I'm uploading it on YouTube. I have to write for every interview a different description and stuff like that. It's a hell of work. It's a hell of work. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to start this, I highly recommend trying a platform like USA Global TV and Radio and make your experience step by step, maybe as a guest, as a co-host, as a host. And of course, you pay some money for that. But, it's every penny worth. Every penny worth, especially when you're working part-time and you can fully concentrate on the show, and you don't have to concentrate on producing, on promoting, stuff like that. So that's what I highly recommend is go with a channel like USA Global TV and Radio and start there and stay there.
Thank you, Roland. I really appreciate that. And it's a lot of work. I was working, I think, 80 hours a week. Now I think I'm working 90 hours a week, but that's what it takes. And I love what I do. And we have a certain level of professionalism here. So to your point, people can come here, we'll train them, and then they can stay here, and then they can go off on their own, taking what it is that we teach them. Part of what I really think we offer here is that we are a family and people are supporting each other. So we have probably 55 people on our team now from all over the world who didn't know anything about each other. There's still people here now that everyone doesn't know. So we need to have a team meeting or something, but it's a great place to come and learn and then expand and grow. And are you going to get rich by doing this? No, it's a commitment like anything else. You don't just start broadcasting and all of a sudden a lot of money starts flowing your ways. You have to do something with the content that you create. You have to actually be your own best cheerleader or hire a firm to help market the content that you've created. But it doesn't just stop with creating content.
Absolutely. And as I said, and you said, join and stay. Even when you do your own stuff, like I started 2 months ago in the German market. Yes, but I'm still staying with USA Global TV Radio, and I will. And I don't know if I can mention it, but our dear friend and also an amazing person here on the show, Ian. Ian, he has, I don't know, a billion of viewers on his channel, but he on his own stuff, what he's doing, he does amazing work, but he still is every Wednesday, I guess, he's committed to do a show here on USA Global TV and Radio. So join and stay, whatever you want to do on the side.
Thanks, Roland. This time went by so fast because we're both so passionate about what we do here as broadcasters.
That's true.
So, we have your contact information here. And again, we urge people to reach out. If you don't reach out, you don't know where the connection can go. So, Roland, how can people reach you and who would you like to contact you?
Well, as I'm always on the road, the best way is email me. It's office@my name, rolandfriedl.com. It's ROLANDFRIEDL.com. So office@rolandfriedl.com. Email is the best way to contact me. And then let's have a conversation. Whatever drives you, whatever maybe triggers you, whatever ideas you have, whatever vision you have, let's connect. It's all about connecting and sharing and caring. Thanks a lot. Wherever you're joining us, thanks for tuning in. And maybe you are the next guest or co-host or even your own host here on USA Global TV and Radio. It would be wonderful to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. I wish you safe travels. I know it's getting to be late there. And I really appreciate what you shared today in this show and also in the Planet Earth show before.
Like always, it was an honor and pleasure. And now it's 5 minutes. Bring my stuff back. And then I have to leave before the security is coming again.
Okay. All right. Be safe, my friend. We'll chat soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. As Roland mentioned, we'd love to have you come and join us. We really are a family. It's not about just doing a show and leaving. It's us supporting you and you supporting us. So please go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com and /book your session or contact us. I just want to mention that we do have, as we're talking about listening, we do have courses to help you learn how to listen. Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening is a 2-hour online on-demand course. And if you write into us, we'll give you a coupon code. So just again, you can contact me directly. My contact information is here in the notes. I'll just put it up. It's Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com. Go ahead and write to me, ask me for the coupon code. We'll give it to you, and then you can take the course and you can join our team and you can find out the power that we have here. We went from a small number of views to we're on our way to 1 million views for this year. I really believe we're going to hit it. And also, I just want to make mention of the fact that I have a brand new book coming out as an extension of the course. It's called Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening, Solutions for Deeper Connections, Better Relationships, and More Authentic Conversations. You can go and pre-order your copy of our ebook, and you can do that right now on Amazon. Just put in my name, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. The paperback and hardback copies will be available on September 21st, which is the International Day of Listening. Finally, if you'll be in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area in the United States of America, I will be speaking as a VIP speaker at the World Summit on Women and Girls on October 20th through the 22nd, and it's an initiative of the Justina Mutali Foundation, Hands Across Philadelphia. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you there. And we're going to close out with a quick sponsorship, and then we'll be back. Here's Simon McDonald.
Hello everyone, I'm Simon McDonald. I live in the West Highlands of Scotland, a very beautiful part of the world. Seems a long way from the USA Global TV station. But remember, USA Global TV is worldwide. It's a fantastic platform. And every Wednesday, I come along here as part of the show of the United Kingdom, News and Culture. And it's just like a family reunion each time. It's one of these amazing stations that has such a beautiful, friendly, and intelligent atmosphere as well. And we reach out to an audience in the most unimaginable places. And I came here, I don't know, must be over a year ago now. I was introduced by Dr. Philip Chan, and I met Ian Plum-Turner and Helena Chard, who are co-presenters on the show. And then Diane Floyd-Bem came along as well. And I mean, the five of us, Dr. Jacalyn, of course, who is our host and our mentor, has just made this show work so well. Tremendous people, lovely time we have, and we impart a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. Nothing's rehearsed. It's all done off the cuff, and it all just gels. And we get great feedback from people coming back and saying how they're enjoying the show. It's lovely to hear. And it's lovely to get that interaction from outside as well. And we're all listeners, and some of us are elevated listeners as well. So we enjoy every second of it, and we hope you do too.
Meet Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, President, Founder, and Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. She is a certified life, career, and executive coach. Dr. Jacalyn is the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Behind the Green Screen and Adversity to Awesome. As the listening mentor, she teaches children and their families how to listen at an elevated level through the book series titled The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. The Creative Hearts Awakening book series features heart-centric creatives who share their awakening journey. Through the Power of Listening educational course platform, people can get certified as elevated listeners on USA Global TV and Radio. Learn how to center yourself and align with nature through the power of nature, plants, and shrines. The Journey of Chakra Psychology course will educate you on the chakras and their meaning. The Intuition of the Heart course will help you understand how to trust your intuition. Learn how to face the shadows of self and understand the impact of following trends and materialism. Set boundaries and ask for permission to help establish better relationships, deeper connections, and more authentic conversations. Take your communication expertise to a higher level with the course for curious humans. After all, we are not robots. Looking to start your own podcast platform? Get everything you need in the Podcaster Pro package with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. How can music, breath, and your voice set you free? Find out with the Power of Listening courses. Dr. Jacalyn is a certified meditation teacher, yoga instructor, and Juice Plus distributor. She will help you create a plan for your healthy lifestyle. As an expert in the art of interviewing with over 3,000 hosted and/or produced live broadcasts, Dr. Kerbeck helps her clients stand out as global broadcasters. Dr. Kerbeck's books are available on Amazon. Start your listening journey by reading. Tune into the Listening Mentor TV show, Fridays on USA Global TV, and learn how listening can be your superpower. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, MBA, DBA, Certified Holistic Life, Career, and Executive Coach, Certified Yoga Sculpt Teacher, Certified Meditation Teacher, The Listening Mentor, Singer-Songwriter, Founder, President, Chief Listening Officer of USA Global TV and Radio. drjacalyn.com. Thank you to all our elevated listeners, team members, animal characters, and co-authors. Contact us at 215-852-9406. Jacalyn at drjacalyn.com.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diane Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diane Floyd Boehm tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at dianefloydboehm.com. Visit dianefloydboehm.com. That's dianefloydboehm.com.